Welcome to our Wednesday episode of Go FUD Yourself. Kiara here with our very good friend Cher. How you doing, Cher?
Good morning, everyone. I am great. Thank you for having me. I am ready to spread the FUD thick and hard.
I'm so happy you could join us today because Wednesday is our Degen news day, and you might be the most Degen undoxed person I know.
Undoxed? I feel doxed at the moment.
Are you still doxy?
No, I'm doxed. I'm full. People know who I am.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Yeah. All right. All
I'm
right. You're
I'm
like a little
Aaron.
bit doxy.
Yeah, no, I show my face. I'm not lurking anywhere. But yeah,
This
no.
isn't a deep fake. I just assumed that this was like a mask of some kind.
I would.
I guess you
We
can't
we
tell
all
me.
wear a
That would
mask.
undo the
Many masks.
Well, I'm really excited to have you on here today because everyone's at ETHCC and they all got to hear about Vitalik and the new wallet management, probably in person, and they all get to like have hugs and high fives there. And here we are having to dispel the FUD about it, a whole day later. So I'm excited to have you on to talk about onboarding new users and tokenization of real world assets and the benefits of a wallet that's as easy as an email, but also maybe the downfalls of that.
Yeah, we can get right into it in terms of the Vitalik talking about account abstraction things. Is this a new development that dropped? To be fair, haven't been keeping up with the to the minute updates coming out of ETHCC.
It's new-ish. So he kind of like made the announcement. So if you follow ETH really closely, you probably saw that some elements of this were coming. But if you are a little bit more of a news reader and less of a deep diver, this is a brand new announcement that people are stoked about. And I feel like lead us through account abstraction. What does
Sure.
that mean to you? Why does it matter to you?
Well, I would say that I'm not an expert. I wouldn't call myself an expert on account abstraction. A few folks that are people like Cuppa Joseph,
Yeah.
Pioneer Pat, two wonderful founders over at Keep, KEYP, or usekeep.com. They are also popular for coming up with the game wallet secret phrase generator from old school Game Boys, but they also created this wonderful account abstraction flow that they first debuted with chess.com. Have you heard of it? It's called chess.com. It's really big, got huge during COVID. And what they did first with chess.com, and now it's available for anyone to use, and we use it at Infinity Keys, infinitykeys.io. There's treasure everywhere. And we'll get into that later. So what that it enables you to do, you have a chess.com account. And at chess.com, you can sign up with Google or your Discord account or all of the Twitter, whatever you want. Anything that's OAuth, you can use, your existing account. And when you do, you have your chess.com account. Great. With Keep, what they created was treasurechess.com or treasures.chess.com, which just ports directly to chess.com. You link your account via Keep. Keep creates a wallet for you, an abstracted, permissionless, non-custodial wallet, probably what Vitalik was referencing in his ETC talk. And this is huge. And when you're talking about onboarding, and I'll get to that in a second. So once you create your wallet, so the secret phrase is not accessible to anyone but the user. It's created on, and I think this is where it gets weird, some server somewhere, right? But it's not accessible unless you are the account holder. If it's your Google account, the only person that's now maybe can Google get it too? I don't know, but let's say they can't. As that's likely, right? So only you can access your secret phrase, and thus by using Keep, you have now a wallet that's linked to your Gmail. You can log in with your Gmail, and what Keep did with Treasure Chest was you can mint an NFT of any game that you've ever played on that account. So that if there's an especially awesome game that you want to capture, all of the moves are captured in an NFT that's minted to you, and they cover the gas. We do the same thing in Infinity Keys. So we completely we ripped out our old flow at Infinity Keys and we implemented only Keep. So you log in with either your Discord or your Google account. We have others coming soon, Instagram, Steam, everything else. And you have a wallet that we cover the gas for minting your achievements. So when you solve puzzles at Infinity Keys, you mint achievement NFTs. The gas is covered, the account is abstracted, and for Web 2 users coming in, they don't have to worry about anything new in terms of getting up and running on this fully Web3, app, toolified app. But there's nothing new. You don't have to explain anything to them. There's an interface that says we're creating a wallet for you, and bang, go play the game or do the thing or whatever. Now there are some issues presented with that, certainly. Like what do they do next? And when they want to move things or recover things, maybe they lost access to their account. These are some of the issues that we need to work through now.
I was going to ask, can they access their account without their Web 2 auth?
At this point, I don't think so.
So
Unless they have their private key.
Also, isn't it then a little bit more centralized? Like, I say this from a Degen perspective, is do they technically own their wallet if it's on a smart contract?
Well, I think
because they don't own that smart contract, right?
Well, I guess if that's, I think then the same question could be asked of just any wallet, because do you really own it? And then your private key, and where was that generated from? I don't know. This is probably a lower level technical.
Am I going too deep?
Thing.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's okay. No, this is good. It's good to expose our holes. I think though, I think no, this is not a decentralized or let's say a fully decentralized, in that you have to rely on some OAuth account provider, and maybe there are some decentralized options there, and maybe that's how I don't see this becoming an EIP that gets implemented, Vitalik becoming this excited, super duper smart people like Joseph and Patrick and others that see what this is and are running with it. I don't think it becomes as popular as it has with this group of people unless it is viable, unless there is something there. So I kind of have to put my trust a little bit in them, but as I think we've all put a lot in Vitalik and others. So
well, that's kind of what's interesting about this too, is as you're stating, it's not as though wallet abstraction is new, right? I mean, MetaMask has some elements of that. You're talking about Keep, who was already doing that, but now Vitalik has come out and said that it's really important and cool. And I think that does kind of bolster the trust and legitimacy of the DeFi community to engage in something like this. But it's not really for them, right? Like, we're not building wallet abstraction for people who've been in the space since 2016. We're building it to onboard new people. And
here they come. By the way, it's like I'm starting to I'm calling it now. Although I think I'm not calling it in the terms of any price movement one way or the other.
Yeah.
Though I think the macro is pretty self-evident and laid out right in front of us. Is that don't get distracted by the pets. I think that we're now less than a year away from the halvening and everything that comes with it. So historically, especially for people that haven't been around for the previous ones, look into how things went and how fun it gets, and prepare yourselves mentally and spiritually.
Yeah,
that's my call at the moment. Things, get to know who you are now. Understand your strengths and weaknesses, because they will all be required and exposed when things go quickly.
Develop a manifesto so you don't get caught questioning yourself.
Just don't publish it. It's a personal manifesto for yourself.
Yeah, don't put it on Gitbook. I don't want to read it.
Private repository at that, but even then, I don't know. Probably better to keep that offline. I'm very excited about account abstraction. I have made it a personal mission of mine to onboard as many people to Web3 as possible, and that's been for years now. So I'm uniquely familiar with the roadblocks, high and low level, and especially lately, I'm onboarding people. It's not just swapping tokens. and playing DeFi, it's increasingly GameFi. It was just games.
Heck yeah.
Forget GameFi, but most of them are GameFi,
Yes.
except for Infinity Keys. There's nothing for sale. There's treasure everywhere. Da Vinci Code style puzzles, akin to Sudoku and Wordle. Yes, sorry.
No, it's good. So the other things that are exciting about, I mean, again, this isn't new because we've already talked about abstraction before, but some of the things that people are talking about in terms of benefits, we've already talked about wallet recovery, right? So you signed up to your Google account or your Instagram account or whatever Web2 account you already have. In theory, you might be able to recover it easier. But one of the things that I think is a cool application is a team wallet. So as a company, you're always like creating these wallets and sharing the keys and not able to track who's doing what and what that looks like. So the concept of actually having Web2 auth, like multiple Web2 auth on one Web3 wallet, I think is really fascinating. And there are a lot of use cases for that. But I wonder how that can go about. I mean, I guess you can modify smart contracts at any time, but is that kind of against the ethos of the Web3 wallet? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I would be skeptical of an upgradable contract that governs private key creation, things of this nature. But so yeah, so I don't think but there are like diamond contracts and upgradable contracts. Certainly, I don't think they would be implemented in these use cases, but I don't know. But I think about the term like on teams that need to execute things in a decentralized way, usually like safe, formerly known as Gnosis Safe, now just safe, app.safe.global. I love them very much. Shout out to the Safe team. They were in the booth next to us at ETH Denver this year. So I got some safe shirts. So standard ops, you have a number of people that are on a multi-sig, a safe multi-sig, and you execute things from there, anything from deploying contracts to sending tokens to whatever else. And with the apps that are like native to Safe, Wallet Connect, you can basically do anything that you would do with your own wallet, your own MetaMask Rainbow wallet, whatever, Wallet Connect, like the Wallet Connect app. There's a few things that are like, to level up, easy ways to level up. Use the Wallet Connect app in Safe with a team, do some things, and especially if you haven't, just find a reason to do it with you and a friend. Share an asset, mess around. The transaction builder in Safe, very, very useful. If you need to execute a whole bunch of things in one go, you can download a JSON template. It's pretty straightforward, and so play around with it. I encourage people to. But so that's one way. Safe. Everyone on the team execute something. What if you're on a growing team and you're rapidly onboarding Web2 people? Perhaps this abstracted way, yes, we don't want to be managing a whole bunch of funds with these, perhaps. But to get these people up and running, especially onboarding teams, and we already know how long it takes to get one person onboarded. It's a month. You have to bake in a month into that. To get someone onto something that's already going, it's like hopefully it takes less, but that's what it is. And they don't have deep Web3 knowledge and understanding. Abstracted wallet. Let's go. Sign the thing. We'll get you going. It'll be part of the curriculum. But on this day, we use an abstracted wallet. That's how I see this playing out. And
you kind of brought us exactly to where I was hoping to go, which is like, is that against the ethos of blockchain finance or against the ethos of DeFi? So yes, we can see more rapid onboarding. Yes, we can see the average person is able to create a wallet in moments and they're going to feel safe because they already feel safe with their email. But in reality, a lot of people then are not really embracing that concept of their internal locus, of their own autonomy, and they're still relying on the previous generation of the web to participate in this new world. And the reason that I bring this up is like a lot of people saw DeFi or saw owning your own wallet as a revolution. And I wonder if by this wallet abstraction, if we're kind of like letting go of that ethos.
I agree that we cannot lose sight of the original ethos. It bothers me that it's not as in the forefront, so I try to bring it to the forefront as much as I can. So I'm glad that we're on it. I remember vividly in the beginning, and at least when I started paying attention heavily, it was like early 2016, and everything was about understand what this is. This is new. Understand the security risk and best practices. What is happening actually when you're creating an address? What governs that? What is a private key? What is a public key? Which you never share? How should you govern your, or how should you deal with your backup phrases? And so this was a daily topic every day because you had to. This is, this was the first wave of users. And it's so now that is not, it is not as, it's not as popular of a topic, and as such, you find so many users that have been in for years now, since DeFi summer, that don't understand these concepts, that still have, that they don't know what a nonce is in terms of an Ethereum transaction, and the these concepts, they should be core concepts that users understand very, very early on, as early as possible. Now, within that, there's still centralized exchanges. That's a whole topic. That was the other thing I was searching for is what was the other topic? Don't use centralized exchanges. There was a very anti-centralized exchange sentiment in the beginning. Now I wonder why it's gone away. Maybe because they've invested a bunch of money and have, use all the tools that are available to big organizations to make, but before it was never keep anything on a centralized exchange ever for any reason. There's no reason FTX had to happen, but it did. So I hope that with these abstracted accounts, part of the curriculum will be, yes, and if we keep making noise, people will know, yes, this is a way. Now you have an account and you're doing things on the blockchain, but this is not the most secure way. You should not store assets with this. This is at best, these are raffle tickets or coupons or whatever. These are not your...
Yeah, it's like an on-ramp, but a lot of people are never going to get off that ramp. They're never going to progress further, which is one of the things. So one of the other things that people talk about in terms of wallet abstraction is signless transactions. And this is interesting to me. It's kind of like moving from in TradFi from a check to tap with your debit card or your credit card or something. But if we have a number of people who join Web3 via a wallet abstraction where they connect their Google account or their Instagram account or what have you, and then they don't even necessarily need to sign. I just see these huge security risks because a lot of people aren't going to do the due diligence to understand that they're vulnerable, right?
Well, that's interesting. As far as I know, and I could be wrong, that if you have one of these abstracted accounts and wallets, that there are very specific things that they are set up to do and not do, so that you can't, they can be set up so you can't do anything silly, or you can't, you know what I mean? It's all based on the parameters of the implementation. So you do sort of have to trust. But so that being said, I don't think out of the box, let's say with Keep, that you're automatically sort of that you don't have free will over signing transactions or being included in chat. I think all of that is still exactly the same as what we are used to. However, I do see, I think, yeah, there is a vector here. I understand. I'm gonna, we'll follow up on this, but I do see the path where if there is a shady implementation of this technology that has pre-approved a whole bunch of things, let's say on creation of your wallet that you have no idea what's going on, absolutely, I can see some issues with this. So, yeah, something to look
I
into.
have this vision of people joining Web3 via this Web2 auth in which they are required to. So there's some sort of tokenization of a real world asset that they have, whether that be their real estate house deed or their luxury watch or their Neopet that came out last night. Are Neopets real world assets, Kira? But they log on in this way because they are pretty much forced to. This asset is now going to be on the blockchain, and that's just a requirement. Don't worry, it's really easy for you. We'll create you a wallet. You can just log in with your email. You don't need to worry about it. And now we have all of these people who are quote unquote participating in the blockchain, but they don't actually understand how they're participating, why there might be a security vulnerability, or what that actually means to them. And one of the concerns I have is we always talk about, how to onboard 1 billion users. Well, realistically, the way to onboard 1 billion users is to do so without any transparency and not let them know that they're actually entering the blockchain. But then that in itself is against the ethos of being in charge and having your own autonomy, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're dealing with a generational issue that we're trying to deal with on a seasonal and quarterly basis. But in reality, it's going to take this type of education over a much longer time frame for people to value.
Mhm.
I mean, like the cypherpunk movement has been
Right.
happening forever, or for a long time.
Forever, for our whole lives.
For yes, for as long as I can remember. No, but so perhaps yes, and now and out of that, has birthed Ethereum. So, and that was what, one generation, if it's 20 to 25 years.
Right.
So maybe it'll be another 20, and then everyone will understand exactly why it's necessary, and hopefully it won't be too late. But and it's being worked on now. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I perhaps we're on an extrapolated timeline.
It's just these are the things I think about. These are the things I worry about, right? It's like if my mom's bank forces her to log on to a digital wallet, she's not going to see a difference between online banking and blockchain banking, right? And then to me, that just means that we've moved directly into TradFi and we've given up everything that we worked for in DeFi.
Yeah, it's I think that it comes back to educating people as to why this
For sure.
exists in the first place, and why having ownership of your assets. There will be examples, unfortunately, like we know, like every attack vector becomes exploited by scammers and schemes and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly has probably already been examined deeply and thoroughly by
Of
those
course, of
that
course.
wish to
Why not
exploit it.
us?
Yeah. So we'll probably see some real fun stuff coming out of this, and then adjustments will be made. I don't know. I continue to have a lot of respect and faith for the Ethereum core devs,
Mm-hmm.
how they have
Absolutely.
implemented things and gone about things, overall for the past however long it's been, 8 years, and where things are at now, how proof of stake went. And so if it was implemented, I think hopefully, foundationally,
Mm-hmm.
it falls in line with everything that's come before it.
Certainly. Okay, so kind of the last topic that I'll bring up on this today is that the World Economic Forum, this was in the news, the World Economic Forum identified barriers to global crypto regulation. We've seen this before. We've seen it from the International Settlement Bank. We've seen it from all kinds of places. And of course, what they're saying is that there's fragmented enforcement, inconsistent monitoring, different classifications of crypto assets. Countries can't decide on what's going on. And so we need to have a world understanding of how crypto should be used and how blockchain technology should be used. And that, of course, leads us into like CBDC territory, and CBDC territory leads us further into Web 2 authentication, or even like in-person authentication, then giving you your crypto wallet, and now having this whole different on-ramp of people into Web 3 who know even less that that's the space that they're entering.
Yeah, this wow, what a signal this is. Yeah, CBDCs are an inevitability. I think it was a topic of focus on my last appearance, and
Probably we do hate them here.
the it because it's an inevitability, because Ethereum exists and DeFi exists.
Mhm.
This things have to move forward. They cannot ignore or try to. They can't like it's extremely difficult to regulate crypto without doing like seriously crazy things to the internet. So they have to make this move in terms of CBDCs, and this is a signal now. Okay, we're going to educate everyone according to our standards of what
Exactly.
of what we think they should be, all leading up to that. And I think, and then I don't know. This is a theme. I guess it comes back to education on why this alternative exists, or there. Yeah, it's going to fork back to why Ethereum exists and is necessary and is such a
But
powerful
instead of
tool.
that, we're going to see a lot of education from the governments, right? So Hong Kong has put in an educational program that is supposed to help people get jobs in digital asset management. And so that is very much like from the government, so you can have a job. But Beijing just announced, I think earlier this week or late last week, that they're going to do something similar where they're going to train people not only in digital asset management, but just in the digital technology. And it's open to like general citizens. It's not like a post-secondary class or something to that end. So then we kind of have this like bias of what they actually want to be using the Web3 technology for as a government. And that's the rhetoric that people are going to get, right?
That's, it's interesting. Sorry,
I just folded up my tin hat and like put it on for you today. So
yeah, no, I mean, it's all good. You put it on for me. I don't know. I think about probably 7th grade. We started taking computer classes, but there were computers in the classroom, I think, from the time I was in 1st or 2nd grade.
Mhm.
So let's see. So they being the public school system in America taught us to use computers very early on. We became very adept. I don't even know what generation. I was born in the late 80s. So
and you had computers that early?
Yeah, we had the very old Macintoshes. I distinctly remember like 2nd grade.
We didn't
like
have those
old,
till 6th grade, but I live in the north, so
I might be in the north of the wall. So, the line I'm trying to draw is that they taught us to use computers, ergo taught us to use the internet, taught us to use Web3, or at least opened that door for enough people. So I wonder if this is just an even bigger, like, if it's available, if Ethereum is available and other decentralized tools and things and services, people will find them. Let's see how much they try to vilify them. They already have. I mean, we see what the rhetoric is. So I think, I'm trying to look at it as a glass half full positive outcome scenario. Maybe they're ramping up the education
I love
for
it.
us.
I'm gonna try to take your positive spin on these things going forward. Okay, this has been super interesting. I think it's exciting to talk about wallet abstraction and how that is going to come out of ETH, but also what your other options are. So thank you for talking about Keep. Thank you for talking about Infinity Keys, so that we have a general idea and we can actually go see like a use case of this being successful in a way that maybe we didn't anticipate. But I'd love to hear if you think about it some more. I'd love to chat more about how this might open people up to vulnerabilities, how it might be a non-consensual onboarding into Web3, or how this is actually like the way, the truth, and the light. We often talk about how UX is going to be how we onboard people, but maybe this like non-consensual, necessary blockchain, real world assets, abstracted wallets is the real deal. So interesting conversation, but that's a half hour. That's what we get.
It flies by. I love this format.
I find Degen Wednesdays are the most flyby because it's more about kind of the ethos and why we're here, and that's what we're all really passionate about. So I think we could stay here for hours.
Let the opinions fly. It's easy. No.
But Cher, you're coming to us from Infinity Keys. Any cool, wild news from IK?
We have implemented Keep, abstracted accounts. It's very easy to onboard. It takes away Infinity Keys. There's nothing. We're not selling anything. There isn't anything to buy, at least not right now. And so there's really no reason to be dealing with transactions as much as we were before, and we realize that. So now you come to infinitykeys.io, you use Keep to log in with either Google or Discord, and you are playing the game, and you are minting NFTs, going to a wallet that you control without paying any transaction fees. So it's very, very exciting. There's a lot more news that I can't quite announce just yet, but just incredible things happening every day. There's treasure everywhere, and I'm excited to come back and announce some fun things very soon.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. We are a live stream Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. MST. And during the summer, we apparently have guests all the time. JD and I both insisted that we would still do an episode every day, even when we're not available. So we got wonderful chair for Degen News today. Tomorrow, we have someone from the Blockchain Association to talk about the crypto arms race. And then on Friday, we have one of the biz devs, I believe, is at Wallet Guard to talk about scams. And there were quite a few wacky doodle scams in the news this week. So tune back in. Chair, Go FUD yourself.
Thank you. You as well, always.